Hey y'all, welcome back. This is Crystal. We're in a slightly different spot today. We're in my downstairs living room. We're having yet another bookshelf filled with books. So I thought I'd shoot down here for today and do a shelf highlight, an author spotlight, if you will. Today we're going to do my Chuck Palahniuk books. I think pretty sure I've got all of his books. So yeah, I have a lot. So let's jump right in to Chuck Palahniuk. So I've been reading him since the 90s. I've read just about everything. I'd gotten behind there in the last few years where I didn't read some of his newer stuff, but hopefully I'm trying to catch up on those and get everything of his read. But we're just going to dive right into Chuck. Of course, you had to start with Fight Club, right? This was his first book, and of course his first book that I read. This came out, what was the year? What was the exact year? 1996 for Fight Club. And I read it. I didn't read it. Did I read it in 1990? I think I read it in 1996 maybe, but somewhere thereafter, maybe a couple years later, and I have a movie tie-in. I would love to have like a first edition hardback. That's like a wish list item for me. I remember first reading it, I think from like a library copy maybe. I don't even remember now, to be honest. But I did end up buying this one too because I wanted to read it again. I've underlined so many things in here over the years too from reading it. Yeah, I think most people know what Fight Club's about, but this definitely got turned me on to Chuck Palahniuk and his writing style. It was just something. It was for me at the time in my very early 20s. Something that I just had not read before. This kind of writing, and it kind of knocked my socks off and develop into this love affair with Chuck's books. So. Fight Club, right? Let's see. So then let's dive into Survivor. This one came out in 1999, and I don't think I read it since 1999. This one's due for a reread for sure. What I remember about this one, there's some sort of like religious type group. That's maybe a bit Amish type, but they're not Amish, but they have these sort of leanings of this group. It's kind of a cult, right? And our main character is named Tender Branson, yeah, and he's going through his life as he's has basically hijacked this plane. And I think he's planning to crash it somewhere. That's vague memories of this book. Yeah, this one is very much due for a reread for sure. Now this one is my absolute favorite Chuck Palahniuk book, still to this day. So this is also from 1999. Invisible Monsters. I love this book. In it we follow a model who has gotten in a car crash, and in the crash she was hurt pretty badly, and she actually lost her bottom jaw, and instead of getting any kind of like reconstructive surgery or anything, she just decides to live without it, and she sort of wears a veil. And she meets up with this like crazy character named Brandy Alexander, who is, just a really flamboyant character. They seem kind of like very much opposites, but they become friends, and there's twists and turns, and it's hard to even describe this book, but it's so good. It's just so good. I love it so much. I just love it so much. And they did, a few years ago. When did this one come out? 2012. he came out with the remix of Invisible Monsters, and I haven't read it yet, but I think it's kind of choose your own adventure-ish, where he kind of, I think, takes you through the story in a different way, so you experience it differently. I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't actually read this one yet. I read Invisible Monsters 1,000,001 times, but I do need to dive into the remix for sure. Let's see, Lullaby. I always loved this cover, the neon colors of it all. So Lullaby is another one actually I don't remember much about. I have not read it since it came out in 2002. Yeah, I just don't remember much about this one, but I remember loving it. Due for a reread, absolutely, for sure. So it's like Carl Streeter's a solitary widower and 40-ish newspaper reporter who is assigned to do a series of articles on sudden infant death syndrome. In the course of his investigation, he discovers an ominous thread, the presence on the scenes of these deaths of the anthology Poems and Rhymes Around the World, opened to a page where there appears a chant. This song turns out to be lethal. Okay. Yeah. I read that, 20 years ago, so what are you gonna say? So Haunted, I think a lot of people know Haunted, I think. This cover is always so creepy because it's like out of focus, yeah. But it's about some authors that go on a writing retreat. And let's see, what's the year of this one? I think I've got these in publication order, but so 2005. And they go on a writing retreat. And each of the authors on that retreat, there's like a story basically in here. And they're sort of like almost kind of like locked in this room, and they each try to like one up each other on like how sort of extreme they can get with their story. I remember absolutely loving this one, but again, I've not read it since probably it came out. I need to reread a lot of his books for sure. All right, this one is from 2004, so after before Haunted. But this one is Stranger Than Fiction. And this is one of his sort of collections of sort of stories. This is some nonfiction essays, words and how to use them, about just about different things. I like his nonfiction, and I remember really enjoying this. But it's just it's just a collection of different essays from Chuck. It was just a different way of looking at things. So, all right, this book is dirty. A diary. Let's see. This one is from. Ooh, really cool inside artwork on that one. Yeah. Dun, da, da, da. This one is from 2003, so I do actually have these a bit out of order. This one I did actually reread a couple of years ago. And even if you pull out the sleeve there, you got some inside artwork. So this one's pretty cool. So we follow a lady named Misty, I think. Yeah, her Misty, and she has attempted suicide. And once she was like this really cool artist. She wanted to be an artist, but then she got just married and like didn't pursue the dream. Married, had a kid, lived in this small town, and what's her husband's name? Peter. And Peter is like it's like a contractor, like kind of worker guy, and he like remodels and just does work around the area. And he's been hiding like rooms within these places like that you can't access, but they're very strange. And there's a lot more going on in here, but this one is very. I like this one a lot. It's very good. On a reread, I listened to the audiobook and Martha Plimpton narrated it, and she did a really good job. So Diary. It's another of his kind of what's the word? Nonfiction kind of essay type work is Fugitives and Fugitives and Refugees. And this is really about Portland, Oregon, which is where Chuck lives. This was a strange city anyway. And again, it's just another sort of collection of non-fiction. All right, let's grab the next batch. So Choke. I know I have primarily hardbacks because I bought them all when they first come out, except for Fight Club. So let's see, this one's 2001. Okay, so again, I'm way out of order. Again, he always has some cool artwork inside. Now Choke is a strange one. It's about a dude named, what's his name again? Vincent? No, Victor. I was thinking Vincent. Victor. Who is he's not really a likable dude. He's, but he has this kind of crappy job where he works at one of those like kind of living history type places. He hates it, but it's a job. He kind of, his mom's in like a home because she's like, she can't totally take care of herself, but he's like taking care of her and stuff, but she's got like some serious sort of mental issues and things. And he also has this sort of, a side gig, I would say, where he goes into like really posh restaurants and he'll pretend to choke, or he'll like actually kind of choke, and then someone will save him, and those people that save him, they sort of feel responsible for him in a way, and he kind of grifts them out of money and things like that. But by doing that, he's not like a likable dude, okay? But it's just this. I don't even know how to really describe this, because it's just like you go back as in time a little bit to see like his mom and why she is like she is, and why he is like he is, and it's a crazy story. And it's a good one. Reread this one recently too, and I like Choke. I like Choke. All right, now this one is one I remember loving from 2007 is Rant, an oral history of Buster Casey. And let's see. It's got a kind of peekaboo cover. You see there's the R, and if you take the sleeve off, you get the book name. This one is, what I remember about this one is sort of a time travel-y type story. This guy Buster he's a killer, and there's also let me see. Buster becomes a leader of an urban demolition derby party called Party Crashing, where they meet up randomly and like have these random like demolition derbies just like in the middle of the street. Very strange. And it, like I said, it kind of goes backwards and forwards. From what I remember, it's been a long time since I read it. Backwards and forwards in Buster's time. And we just learn about him. And I'm not explaining that one very much because it's been a long time since I just love that cover. Isn't that great? Yeah. Due for a reread on basically all of these. Oh my gosh. So from 2009 we have Pygmy. This one I don't remember loving as much. It's about this guy. He's like a foreign exchange student, and he comes in, he lives in America, but he's actually a terrorist. So, and I remember this, I think it sort of tries to attack some of the xenophobia that Americans have and things like that. Like I didn't I don't remember like hating it, but I don't remember this as being a favorite. But I could reread it. I do remember finding like here's an example of like, because there's also some like operatives that are like kind of tracking down pygmies. So some of this stuff is like redacted, for like security reasons and things like that. Yeah, vague memory of this one. And this one I remember not really liking either. It's Snuff from 2008. We've got basically a sort of porn star. What's her name? Cassie. And she's going for like basically a world record of like how many guys people that she can sleep with. So going for, you see there in the middle of this. I love the cover though. The cover was always great. She's going for like 600 dudes, world record, and I think she's ultimately thinking that she won't survive. I think that's why it's called a snuff, but it goes through from different perspectives of a couple of the guys. So like right here is like a Mr. 600. So get a couple things from Mr. 600 and Mr. 72. And then there's a girl named Sheila who's, I think, sort of an aide to Cassie, and she's kind of helping sort of facilitate this whole thing. And one thing, I don't know if you can see the text is in this sort of brown color, so that's kind of interesting too. It's not all in just black. On the inside flap is some dirty deeds. Yeah, I remember just not loving this one. I don't know why. Well, it just wasn't a favorite. That's okay. That's all right. Let's get the next batch. Okay, Tell All. This is a lovely book. It's got glitter. Can you see the glitter? This is about an actress. What is her name? Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. No. Oh, Hazy Coogan. God, I would never remember that. She's the narrator, and the actress is Catherine Kenton. She's sort of old school Hollywood. Lots of husbands. That kind of thing. And she's I think she's telling her story in here. From what I remember. I really don't remember much about this one either. Ugh, I hate that. But literally, I read these 20 years ago, so cut a girl some slack, But this book in particular, though, I enjoy because it is a signed copy. I did go to a book event. My sister and I went all the way up to Asheville, where he was doing a sort of a speaking engagement, I guess, about this book, where he talked about this book and did a reading, that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun. I didn't get to, you didn't do like meet and greet, or maybe you could pay extra for meet and greet, but I just, got the book and got to hear him speak, and that kind of thing. And on each page is each beginning of the chapter is a little sealed with a kiss thing. If you're ever in Asheville, Malaprop's bookstore. It's a really awesome bookstore. And yes, I've got some good memories with this book itself. I was going to see Chuck speak at least, so that's cool. Okay, let's go. This is basically a duel. This is a duology, really. Damned and Doomed. Damned came first. I really like these books. We follow a sort of young teenage girl. What's her name? Madison. Yeah, she's 13-year-old, and she's the daughter of like these really like gajillionaire people, and she's in like boarding schools and things like that, and she dies, and lo and behold, she goes to hell, and we meet her as she wakes up in hell and meets people along the way, and there's some other people in hell. And it's just crazy pants. Honestly, it's crazy pants. Now, in Doomed, we meet Madison again as she's actually spending a little time back on Earth. There's one night a week where you can come back to Earth. I love the eyes of this book. And we just hang out with Madison again. These books are crazy, and I love them. Doomed and Damned. Damned and Doomed. They're good stuff. All right. Couple more here. Make Something Up, Stories That You Can't Unread. This is a short story collection. One I don't have in hardback, but let's see. I mean, it's just a mix of short stories, honestly. And I read this one maybe a couple of years ago, and I liked it pretty good. If you're a Tyler Durden fan, there is a sort of prequel story to Tyler Durden in here. If that sounds like something you would like to read. And here we begin the books I have not read yet. I bought them, never picked them up, so I can't even really tell you what they're about. I just know that I always buy Chuck books when they come out. So Beautiful You, I know a lot of people don't like this one. So Penny Harrigan is a low-level associate in a big Manhattan law firm who has an apartment in Queens and no love life at all. So it comes as a great shock when she finds herself invited to dinner by one C. Linus Maxwell, a software mega billionaire and lover of the most gorgeous and accomplished women on earth. He takes her to a restaurant, go to a hotel in Paris. She gives her orgasmic pleasure. And then she discovers, she's a test subject for the final development of a line of sex toys. How shady. So yeah, again, this is one I hadn't read, so I can't really say too much about it other than it's on the shelf. And same with Adjustment Day. I don't know much about it. It's got a cool cover though. There's some kind of like severed ears here. I'm not sure what that's about. Oh man, people pass the world only to those they trust most. Adjustment Day is coming. They have been reading a mysterious book and memorizing its directives. They are ready for the reckoning. Okay. This is a geniusly comic work, in which he does what he does best, of course, skewer the absurdities in our society. So it looks like they've got some politicians in here, so maybe he gets into some politics in here. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great cover. His most recent fiction released, of course, was The Fiction of Sound. The Invention of Sound. I still haven't read it. Again, I love this cover. Look at this, just neon colors. I love it. This follows, I think, some folks that are like sound, what do you call them? Sound developer people, sound creator, sound effects peoples in Hollywood. Yeah, so they Foley artists. That's right. And this lady who becomes a big industry leading expert in the sound of violence and horror, creating screams and things like that. Soon they find themselves on a collision course that threatens to expose the violence hidden beneath Hollywood's glamorous facade. Disturbing reflection of the commodification of suffering and the dangerous power of art. Okay. All right. I'm down. And I love this author photo of him. Poison de Glare. And he did pretty recently come out with a book kind of on writing. This is from 2020. Consider this: moments in my writing life after which everything was different. And I just wanted to read it to kind of see what it was about. I think, I don't know if it's just about like writing tips or also sort of memories of just his, his writing career so far kind of thing too. I'm not totally sure, but yeah. Oh my gosh, the books are gonna fall over now. But I've got it. All right, the last bits are some of his comics that I've got. I think I've showed this before in a video, my bind up a Fight Club 2. where I did, meet Chuck Palahniuk for this. He had a book tour and met him, and he signed it and had a picture with him and all that good stuff. It was fun. And this is Fight Club 2. We pick up with, our young narrator, and he is married and has kids, or has a kid, and living the dream. And then, lo and behold, let's see, there was a Fight Club 3. I haven't read 2 or 3. I got to read these. I definitely can't tell you what's going on in Fight Club 3. But yeah, it sounds good. So here's the other sort of folks that are involved here. I do have some sort of single, there was a free comic book day, thing for Fight Club that came out. That was cool. What else have I got in here? I've got actually another signed edition. I've got this was issue 1, I think, of Fight Club 2. Yeah, number 1. I won this at a little giveaway from my local comic book shop. They gave away they were giving this away, and I won it. Another signed Chuck thing. And then I started getting the single, shots of Fight Club 3, and I don't think I ever actually ended up getting them all. So I kind of failed at that. I think maybe there was 5 or 6, and I think I only picked up 4 of them, but it's fine. I just like the cool covers, the cover variations on them, So, that's it. I've got a lot of Chuck Palahniuk books, you guys. And let me just share. I think I shared in my Neil Gaiman book collection that I used to do some crafty swaps over on Craftster, and gosh, a million years ago, there was a Chuck Palahniuk craft swap. Chuck Palahniuk's actually quite crafty himself. He makes like jewelry and things like that. But one of the things that I got and I keep on my Chuck shelf is a couple of dolls that were made for me from my craft partner. And I have got this lovely doll from Fight Club, Marla. I love it. She has her cigarette, Isn't that great? I kind of keep it shoved in her bosom, but I love this. I love this. And then I've got a doll of from Invisible Monsters. So we've got our narrator wearing her veil. But if you take the veil down, she becomes Brandy Alexander. She's even got boobs. I love it. So I've had these for so long now, and I cherish them. I love these dolls. So that's my Chuck Palahniuk collection. That was a long video. If you made it this far, thank you. Put a fist down in the comments if you made it this far. And thanks for tuning in. And do you like Chuck? Do you hate Chuck? Some people don't like him. That's fine, but I like him. And I think he's just a cool dude. So again, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye, friends.